Yo, big dog back. We can get into it. We're gonna leave off where we left yesterday with this police detainment. Um, all right. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start this up. This is where I was in my car at a park, and let me just check some settings here to make sure the audio is good and stuff like that. All right, looks like something's happening. All right, cool. Echo cancellation. All right, cool. So yeah, this is when I was at a park. My windows down with expired tags, right? That's what the cop is claiming for his reason to walk up to me. So I didn't have my windows up and out of my vehicle at a park, like walking around the park. I was sitting in my car with expired tags. That's the reason why he initially walked up. So at this point in the video, he's come up to the car. He's I put Paul in his face basically, like on my phone during the live stream, and Paul was having an interaction about the ID and me not willing to give him an ID, right? So then they eventually take me out of the car. They forced me to get out of the car. They started asking me questions. I start then giving up the information. That's where I made a mistake, but it's a learning process. So then that's where I started giving them my name and shit, because I thought I was going to jail at that point. I was like, all right, well, I stood my ground in the car. But once they forced me out, that's when I'm like, I don't know. That's what I was thinking in my head at the time. So then I started giving them my name and stuff so they could run my shit, find my warrants for the same shit that they're giving me a hard time about, which the warrants seem to have no fucking, they just keep telling me I have warrants, but nothing seems to happen. So, I don't know. It's strange. They're like, and then they tell me, oh, don't worry about it. It's just traffic warrants. Well, what the fuck, dude? You're complaining about plates on my car. Tell me my windows are down. And you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm breaking up or not. There might be some internet chicanery going on. But yeah, man, you know what I mean? Oh, it's just traffic shit. Don't worry about your warrant. I was like, what the fuck, dude? You guys are giving me tickets left and right out here. I probably got warrants right now. My screen keeps refreshing or something, dude. There's something wrong with the internet. But we're gonna go ahead and play this video where we left off. So right now, they think everyone on panel thinks I'm going to jail. My phone turned off, it overheated, right? So I picked my phone back up, and then that's where we're going to pick up. So that's where we're at in the situation.
The problem they have, guys, is that the name and number.
Fuck you. No, hold on a second. Fuck you, Paul. Stay the fuck out of my.
Whoa, video unavailable. The fuck was that? Oh, Paul might have. What the fuck? I might have to go back to my channel. What the fuck just happened? You guys see that? The fuck? Let me see. Let me refresh this. Video unavailable. Weird. All right. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go to my channel. That's so weird. This video is private. Oh, okay. So, yeah, because Paul got a strike or something yesterday. So I think he made a bunch of stuff private. So I'm going to go to my channel. And then we're going to go to this one where I was talking way too much over it, but fuck it. I'm going to try to find where we left off. Just doing our job for health and safety. Doing our job.
I don't even believe in it. Rights don't exist. Submit, cooperate, comply. Submit, cooperate, comply for rights and safety. Oh, wait.
Looks like we're having some technical issues. I don't know if anyone's down in chat. If they can hear me, let me know how funky this shit is. Just doing a little quickie before Paul goes live.
Rights don't exist for safety and money. Rights don't exist. God doesn't exist. Submit, cooperate, comply. All people.
Yeah, so at this point in the video, my phone's on top of the car, right? So they ordered me out of the car. My phone's on top of the car. And that's sort of what like why you're seeing what you're seeing.
All times, everywhere. No option, no personal choice for safety.
Yeah, I think my phone gets cut off here.
You guys are going to regret this one day. Bet on it. It's not a direct threat. It's a promise. Historically, you're all going to regret your position at this time, at this place. Bet on it. Know it like you know your name. I know what side of...
Yo.
Submit, cooperate, comply, all people, all places, all times.
Oh my God, dude.
You gonna join me today on the broadcast, Brian, or what?
Yeah, I might join you from a podcast studio. We'll see if I can get it set up. Well, no, you're going live soon. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get it figured out. I'll be there for a little bit. I gotta handle my business though, but that's part of it. Part of my process.
I don't know nothing about that. You know about that. I'm just saying I like when you're there and you kind of add on, with that book you've been reading. And yeah, I think there's something to that book, There's probably a reason you're called to it. And the more that I hear about it, the more it seems to kind of align with whatever we got going on. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You almost want me to read. You're inspiring me to read you something from this thing, which I tried to do on your show yesterday, and I fucked it up.
Well, we had a lot going on yesterday. It was a little bit hectic, I tend to go in and out of my modes of whether I want to be kind of flippant, and obnoxious, or whether I want to get down to the information. So, yeah, I mean, that's part of it, reading that situation.
Mm-hmm. I guess I could play the audio or I could read this thing, but you mind if I read something real quick from that book about Jesus, their story?
Yeah, I'd rather you read it on the broadcast. I mean, I'm going on in 20.
All right, yeah, but I thought I could do like a
Well, yeah, if you want to, yeah, put something down here, and then yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, let's do that because just so I can see what I'm doing. This will help me tighten it up by the time I get to your thing. All right. So his first name was Jessos, but the priests who hated him called him Foe, that is false. The people called him Krishna, that is shepherd, and his Phrygian friend called him Buddha, purse, because he had in his head a treasure of wisdom and in his heart a treasure of love. At last he was obliged to flee from the wrath of the priests, but wherever he went, his teaching had preceded him, whilst his enemies followed him like his shadow. When Jessos had thus traveled for 12 years, he died, but his friends preserved his teaching and spread it wherever they found listeners. What do you think the priest did then? That I must tell you, and you must give your best attention to it. Moreover, you must keep guard against their acts and their tricks with all the strength that Waralda has given you. While the doctrine of Jessos was thus spreading over the earth, the false priest went to the land of his birth to make his death known. They said that they were his friends, and they pretended to show great sorrow by tearing their clothes and shaving their heads. They went to live in caves in the mountains, but in them they had hid all their treasures, and they had made in them images of Jessos. They gave these statues to simple people, and at last they said that Jessos was a god, that he had declared this himself to them, and that all those who followed his doctrine should enter his kingdom hereafter, where all was joy and happiness. Because they knew that he was opposed to the rich, they announced everywhere that poverty, suffering, and humility were the door by which to enter into his kingdom, and that those who suffered the most on earth should enjoy the greatest happiness there. Although they knew that Jessos had taught that men should regulate and control their passions, they taught that men should stifle their passions, and that the perfection of humanity consisted in being as unfeeling as the cold stones. In order to make the people believe that they did as they had preached, they pretended to outward poverty, and that they had overcome all sensual feelings. They took no wives. But if any young girl had made a false step, it was quickly forgiven, which I think means they were. And then you figure it out. But
they were fucking them, O'Shea.
Right. Yeah. That the weak, they said, were to be assisted, and to save their souls, men must give part to the church. So they're fucking them, saying that they're weak, and you guys
you're doing money, exactly. You're describing the same dynamic going on with me and the rest of the worldly hypocrites, where I'm talking about the passion and everything that's in me and how to direct it and express it and explore it. They're pretending like it's not in them and showing you one thing on the outside, while behind the scenes They're fucking everyone and anything, including little boys. So, yeah, I mean, again, this is the hypocrisy we see throughout the ages. They set up the veneer for themselves to keep them all high ground while they condemn others who explore and express authentically while they continue to live a lie for the outward appearances and the subjugation, right? To get the following.
So check this out. I'm going to pick up. So let's see. The head overcome also, and they took no wives. But if any young girl made a false step, okay, give largely to church. Okay, acting in this way, they had wives and children without households and were rich without working. But the people grew poorer and more miserable than it had been ever before. This doctrine, which requires the priest to possess no further knowledge than to speak deceitfully and to pretend to be pious while acting unjustly, spreads from east to west and will come to our land also. But when the priests fancy that they have entirely extinguished the light of Freya and Jessos, then shall all classes of men rise up who have quietly preserved the truth among themselves and have hidden it from the priests. It's kind of like what you say, like how you feel like there's certain, agents, whatever organization they're in that kind of look out, that are rising up at this time quietly, right? Like I said, preserved, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep going. They shall be of princely, these people that are rising up, they shall be of princely blood of priests, Slavic, and Phrygian blood. They will make their light visible so that all men shall see the truth. They shall cry, woe to the acts of the princes and priests. The princes who love the truth and justice shall separate themselves from the priests. Blood shall flow, but from it people will gather new strength. Binda's folk shall contribute their industry to the common good. So Linda's folk, their strength, and we are wisdom. So that's back to those three women I was telling you about: the black woman, the yellow woman, and the white woman. So the white woman's gonna provide wisdom, which is basically, we could get more into that later. But okay, then the false priest shall be swept away from the earth. Geralda's spirit shall be invoked everywhere and always. The laws of Geralda in the beginning instilled to our consciousness shall alone be listened to. There shall be neither princes nor masters nor rulers except those chosen by the general voice. Then Freya shall rejoice, and the earth will only bestow her gifts to those who work. See, all this shall begin 4,000 years after the submersion of Atlan, and 1,000 years later there shall exist no longer either priest or oppression. I'll end there, but something in there, right? Still there?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's good stuff, man. I feel like you were saying, I think it intertwines. It speaks directly to everything that's been going on the last year on your show and everything. It's just everything is just lining up perfectly with how they look at the world. But the only thing that I wanted to ask you, I could ask you on your own show as well, is this thing with the masculine spirit of Geralda, which is more of a spirit, it's not like a person. And then you got the mother, the female on Earth, on Mother Earth, who is very important in their side and are advisors. So how do you feel about the fact that they had women they called like a mother, like they had like a single one that was very, very fucking, and you would go to them for advice? What do you think that's all about? And do you think that's even a good idea? Or
yeah, I think that's part of the natural structure. I mean, I tend to correlate it to the lowest common denominator because I think that there's an ironic synchronicity there, separate from the worldly, you could argue unethical cultural idea, the, structure of the stable, as you want to call it, is the man as the head of the house. And then there are women there. But through the experience and the process and the understanding is going to come about pretty much one woman, just like, that man is going to come forward to be the advisor, right? To basically be kind of an eyes and ears of.
fuck, I think I'm having internet issues. You cut out on my end for a second.
Yeah, they fucking gave me a warning there. But
Really?
yeah, there seems to be a formality here that we come to recognize that's there. We're not necessarily creating it, We're just becoming aware of it and then moving into it. And then what you do with it, of course, is up to everybody involved. Because again, there's a slippery slope from becoming the eyes and ears of a man and uniting with him and attaining the same perspective or discernment versus that man, as it's been said, grooming or doing a cult or, involving himself in willful predatory behavior to only fill a desire, but to not do the work in between, right? So it seems to be a little bit this and that, as far as, the sexuality goes, and then as far as the fellowship goes. So again, when we go back to these ancient texts, there seems to be no mention of sexuality, yet everybody's procreating, right? Everyone must have been fucking, to be crude about it, but you don't hear or see almost any mention of it. And even when they do mention it, it's in the most obscure way possible, like they do with that line about the women. Oh, when the women had missteps, they were forgiven. It's so obscured, you almost miss what they were saying if you don't read into it. You know what I'm saying?
They're saying they groomed and took advantage of young women, but the way they phrased it was when these women were weak. Like that's the power dynamic that they set up. These guys were so
yeah, but again, part of that it seems to be a neuroses where we have this thing we do where we put women on a pedestal and make them out to be these pure as the driven snow creatures. We're all mammalian, right? So unless it's coercive and unless it's based in duress or manipulation and lies, that tends to be the natural tendency, right? Younger women are going to want older men because they have everything they're looking for, whether it's understanding and wisdom, heart, balls, success in the world. It just tends to be the case from the beginning of time, But again, there's a slippery slope between leading, guiding, protecting, revealing, while also experiencing, including sexuality, versus using your status and position in the world to manipulate, to coerce, to duress, to deceive, right? So, I think there's some natural tendencies there, and I think there's some things that are nurtured and or completed with or understood to some degree through experience.
Right. I think I'm still. You said it could be both, but it's like I'm still having a hard time grasping. Okay, men, God, man, woman, child. The man leads, stewards. The woman leads, guides, and protects. But then, how does that woman have such a position in society to where she's like a main advisor? Like, what is that? And it's almost like they have a clairvoyance or something too. These women, like for some reason, I would have a hard time picturing. Like you could see yourself going to a woman for advice like that. I don't know why I'm making it seem like a woman can't give good advice, but maybe you already answered it. It seems like it's
yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily, I don't do the gender sexism game necessarily. I mean, when I look at the whole, males and females at this point are lacking in awareness and wisdom, it would seem to me, understanding of self. So is anyone able to attain that or acquire that? Yeah. Is it more likely that you're going to have women advisors in a society of men who are strong and wise and have given them some understanding as well, or worked with them to gain an understanding? Yeah. So in a society, quote unquote, of strong, honorable, presentable men who are conversationalists, you're going to have women up under them, just like at the stable, pimping and hoeing. I know it's triggering. You're going to have women who are sharp. They're going to have awareness. They're going to know the game. They're going to see the move. They're able to play if necessary, So, I think that one kind of follows the other. A man goes out into the world and goes into himself and gains knowledge of self. The woman does the same process. It just seems oftentimes in the world that one has to follow the other. The man has to kind of reconcile inner and outer space and then give that understanding to the woman to do something with it and work it from her perspective.
Mm-hmm. Because I feel like this book is a great guidebook for the homesteading, the get to land, back to land movement. And I'm kind of feeling that this could be like a one-to-one. Like we could literally create a society, the new society, new civilization with this in mind. So with that in mind, with these women being so high on such a crucial part of that structure, that society, I don't know. Do you think do you agree that this book could be a great guide, and that women in the near future could have a type of position like that? It's some sort of revered, honored position that this is like.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that as if it's not a reality right now. I mean, by the virtue or the nature of what I do, and Jennifer being part of that, she's become on some level a position where some folks may want to counsel with her just to get an understanding from her that she's acquired from or with me. So I think that that's just a natural part of the evolution of a authentic relationship. If you're really being honest with yourself and each other, and you're going past the tests and challenges and talking about the triggers to resolve it, to come to an understanding, well, then you're going to hold a key, in a sense, at least a perspective that's going to be valuable to others. So she may be better off dealing with other women and talking to them and let them get out of it whatever they're supposed to get out of it, rather than deal with me. You know, I may have a different kind of orientation just naturally. So, you know, like I said, if I was on the land, it's not about grooming a woman and making her accept what the fuck I see. It's about us talking to share perspective and then moving into that to understand it. So I'd probably be more likely to go, well, I'd rather you interact with these other women. If I was interacting with another woman, you know, you all talk it out and try to figure it out. And then if you want to bring some questions, comments, concerns to me, I'm open to that. You know, it's just like, it's kind of like, you know, good sense. If you got a woman riding with you who has the understanding with you and it can be valuable for others, well, you're going to encourage them to interact before you do. Because, you know, it's like the Dr. Phil thing, right? They talk about Dr. Phil fucking some broad behind the scenes and losing his license. So it don't matter how civilized and domesticated you think you are, sophisticated, you're subject to the same nature. So it's probably just good sense to let women interact with women and do fellowship with women until they feel like they need the input of a man, you know, presuming that that woman has the understanding of what a man is and what the role and function of each side seems to be.
Yeah, that all makes sense. I'm just really dialed in on this. I know you got to get to your stream though, bro. Maybe I'll bring it up.
Yeah, I got to get out of here, O'Shea. I wanted to stop by and just kind of rap with you for a little bit. And like I said, you want to come over there and kind of go over this stuff, I think that it's you know, good content. Even if we just kind of skim over it, move on, circle back to it. You know, I haven't been down on it.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool, man. Yeah, I appreciate you coming by, dude. Help me out.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna run to the bathroom and then I'm gonna start my shit up. And then yeah, if you want to get into it, I'll be over there.
All right, I'll see you over there.
All right.
All right, brother. All right, y'all. I got a appointment in the podcast studio. I gotta use my OBS. So see if the dude can help me set it up. Fancy schmancy podcast studio. It's not as easily, you know, direct just to get on like there was in the last place. Here I gotta figure some shit out with OBS, which I haven't used in a while, but I appreciate you guys being here and going through these breakdowns. You guys are pretty cool. Fucking bombed on stage last night. Everyone was bombing though, dude. I started yelling at the audience. They fucking turned off my mic because the dude, he tells me beforehand, no audience interaction really, especially if it's angry. I was yelling at them because they don't cook. It's stupid, dude, but I'll talk about it maybe on pause or something. But yeah, I'm gonna get over to the podcast studio. You guys are pretty cool. Planet X Watcher, Bear Jew, Christos. Thanks for showing up, y'all. Much love. Love, peace. And chicken grease is the expression. I'm a vegetarian now, so love, peace, and fucking no meat. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.